Today I'm making a beautiful quilt with no cutting and no trimming whatsoever. Definitely the easiest quilt I've ever made. It came together so fast and I absolutely love how it turned out. This is one of those projects that's so simple that the fabrics really do make the quilt, so choose one you really love. I would say you could do it with your eyes closed, but I do not recommend using a sewing machine that way. I'm using fabrics from one charm pack. Plus, you'll need white strips, and I've got a few left from a jelly roll, but feel free to use any white or light colored fabric you have on hand. Are you ready for the great difficulty that is making this pattern? Let's pick our center square. We want a cute, vibrant one. As you can see, I've left our charm pack squares untouched because we're not doing anything to them. No cutting, remember? Now we get our jelly roll strips and we add a frame around it. You can start at any place. You can add both sides first or just do a wraparound, which is my favorite look personally, kind of like a log cabin feel to it. We want to press what we've got every step of the way, but we want to make sure we don't iron it because we don't want to warp the fabric. Next step is adding a new charm pack frame around the white frame. We want mismatched squares and big contrasts. I start by sewing the upper and lower blocks because those are the ones that will match the frame perfectly. And of course, I don't think I need to mention this, but even though I am using a charm pack and some leftover jelly roll strips, you can totally cut the pieces you need from your fabric yardage, or better yet, use leftover fabric you've got lying around. Next, I just sew enough squares together to make a big enough strip to cover our sides. And this is what we get. Okay, you know what's coming next. We want to add another white frame to our piece. I find that using solid white fabric allows our eyes to rest a little bit, but at the same time, it makes those colors pop. I'm using white because those are the strips I had, but I wonder what it would look like if we used any other color. I guess I'll just have to make another one and find out. Let's press it. We need one final square frame, and again, we want to start at the top and the bottom, mismatching our squares, which actually means they will line up with our center square. This is looking super cute. And I think we can all agree that a no-cutting quilt is a pretty awesome thing, right? Something anyone can do. But I also did promise no trimming, and I meant it. And I guess you could leave it as is, but to me, it looks kind of unfinished. So I want to add a final white frame to make it all come together. If we didn't add this white frame, the squares would be the final frame. And as we finished off the piece, they would kind of blend in. Well, not exactly blend in, but they certainly would not stand out, and the center squares would be the stars of of the show. And we don't want that. We want all the pretty squares to count. And this, I think, looks so much better. Now, I know most of my videos are all about the quilt top or the patchwork, but today I want to finish it. Just not in a very traditional way. Today I want to use a different material for the backing of my quilt, no batting required. So we want to put it over the quilt top, right sides together, and now we want to sew all around it, leaving just a small gap to be able to turn it inside out, so your hand needs to fit that gap. I am using synthetic lamb's wool for my quilt, and this is something I used to use a lot for my projects. I have made countless baby blankets using this stuff. It's sturdy and it can be washed countless times. It's also light but very warm. My cats go crazy for this. If I take it out of the box, they're going to sleep on it, that's for sure. And that's how I know it is a very good material to use, because it's cat approved. Now we need to turn this whole thing inside out, being careful not to rip the stitches or to bend the lamb's wool too much. That's actually the only thing not so great about this material. It bends and it stretches if you push it too hard. And this is what we get. Time to press it in place, because next we need to pin and quilt the whole thing. I'm not going to go too crazy with my quilting, just straight lines with my walking foot to make sure everything stays neatly in place. I always tend to pick straight lines for my more geometrical quilts, like if it's all straight lines, I tend to follow them with my quilting, and if it's a more fluid pattern, I do free motion. I am a die-hard free motion quilting fan. But I cannot bring myself to do it with this sewing machine. I mean, it just takes the joy out of the whole thing, you know, with the tension issues and with all the thread breakage. It really does drive me crazy. It's also the only sewing machine I have ever owned that I don't need to drop my feed dogs to free motion quilt, and that alone is quite odd. This, however, is looking gorgeous. We also want to close our gap. You know, you can do it with some hand sewing, but I find that a thin seam near the border works very well too. And this is what we have, a simple but pretty project done in no time. Tell me, can you think of an easier project than this? And how much fun was it? And this fabric, so gorgeous. I had a blast, I hope you did too, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!